We're staged for another run of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for stopping by our half-hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. History was made this weekend in Las Vegas. Don Schumacher earns win 300. Tommy Johnson contributed to that. And the youngest driver to win a pro event, Tanner Gray, joins us as well. We're in the beams and set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast around the world, this is The Straight Line on Drag Racing at MRN.com. Along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion, 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert. I am Marty Huff, and as we said in the open, history made at Las Vegas this weekend. Don Schumacher gets number 300. 300 wins is amazing. Tanner Gray on the other end of the spectrum, if we're going from the veterans and the guys that have been around a long time, Don Schumacher has done that by getting 300 wins. Tanner Gray gets his very first as the youngest winner ever in a pro category. Amazing stuff.
Well, great run for Tanner Gray, and then also Shane Gray had top speed in the pro stock class. So the Gray team is really getting it together. I mean, it's not a fluke. When you have top speed at the race, you win. You've got a heck of a team.
And won at Gainesville.
Right. So not bad at all. And then you look at the fuel categories, and Schumacher sweeps it again.
Yeah.
So I wonder how the rivalry between Force and Schumacher is going. We'll have to find out a little more about that.
We're working on Don Schumacher for next week's show to talk about his 300th victory and just what that means to him. He's a guy that's pretty no-nonsense. You've known him for a long time, but I would have to imagine that 300 wins, something significant like that, it's got to be even big for Don Schumacher.
Well, you would think so. Just the fact that they've been trying, they've been racing and winning for, quite a long time. I remember when Tony Schumacher won his first race in 1999 at Dallas, and doesn't really seem like that long ago.
Yeah,
and
right.
Now 300, wins for that team. But that's been a lot of drivers, a lot of teams, and that whole Don Schumacher racing organization, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and impressive as right now the points being led by Don Schumacher Racing drivers. Friday was a really weird day at Las Vegas. The dew point was coming up, the temperature was going down to where they were pretty close to being even. And we had one of those days where just traction was just not possible, or was almost near impossible. Tony Schumacher did get down to the racetrack, but for the nitro categories, it was try to get down. Maybe half track was a good run for those guys. How do you get through something like that, or do you?
I don't think there's, Schumacher just got, I guess, kind of lucky getting down there. When the temperature and the dew point get so close together, it's just so damp. It's just wet, and I've seen it there in Las Vegas before, where when the cars go down the track, it actually brings water up through the ground, through the track,
right,
which makes it even harder. So maybe Schumacher was one of the early cars that went down the track. I don't know exactly what the situation was there, but when the temperature and the dew point are so close together, just the level of moisture that's not only in the air but on the track makes it pretty much almost impossible to get down the track.
And one of the reasons why you're out there on a Friday is to get data for your weekend. Now, very rarely are you out there in the dark or later than those Friday runs, but you're still getting data for your upcoming runs for Saturday and then also the most important runs on Sunday. Nobody really got any good data for that. So basically you're just kind of starting fresh from on Monday, correct?
Well, pretty much. I mean, it's amazing. Like in the old days, we would go up there to the starting line, and if you saw that the conditions were terrible, you just park your car. But nobody seems to do that anymore. Everybody just drags their car up to the starting line, no matter what the conditions are, and let's go run down the track. I don't know that, it's not fair really to the fans if everybody parks their cars, but I'm not sure at that point. It was probably wet and nasty. There probably wasn't very many fans there either. So
Yeah.
What do you do? And did you give them much of a show when you go up there and everybody smokes the tires? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. It was just a bad situation all the way around. But everybody got through it. Then the conditions changed dramatically. We went from really cool and fairly damp where nobody was getting down the racetrack, and then within a matter of 12 hours, all of a sudden now we've got hot, slimy conditions, which is a little more what we're used to at Las Vegas.
Well, Las Vegas weather can change pretty quick, but looking at low ET, Steve Torrance in top fuel 372 and top speed by Brittany Force at 329 miles an hour. Those are pretty good numbers. The funny car ETs 386 and top speed by Tim Wilkerson 331 miles an hour. So not bad numbers when you get right down to it. And as we talked about before, there's altitude at Las Vegas. There's some other problems too, but it can get hot, obviously. Yeah. And then it also can get cold and windy. And, we've seen sand blowing across the track in Las Vegas, all kinds of issues. So,
that's not a good thing when traction is really the key component to being able to go down a racetrack.
Another thing in Vegas that has become an issue quite a few times is the tunnels. They've got tunnels underneath the racetrack that go from one side of the track to the other, and those tunnels have, they settle differently than the rest of the track. And I've seen quite a few times where lane choice, number one, means a big thing in Las Vegas, and number two, that bump in the track, not as bad for the dragsters, but for the funny cars, some of the funny cars will come all the way off the ground. It's a pretty major tuning. How do you tune for that? Okay, well, we're going to go down there, and then we got basically a ski jump out there a couple hundred feet. What do you do?
Yeah, and Cruz Pedregon basically proved that last year by getting up in the air and then basically being an airplane for about 900 feet, so much so that the rear tires tripped the scoring timers instead of the front tires. And that was at Las Vegas, and one of the more infamous runs that we've seen in quite a long time. And that's what happens. I mean, you get a car that gets upset a little bit, gets maybe a little bit nose happy, and then all of a sudden the wind gets underneath it, and you've got a kite.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And there again, about like here in Charlotte, North Carolina today, we've got a lot of wind. You get a lot of wind. Boy, it just doesn't make it very good for racing race cars. So, but huge congratulations to Tanner Gray. Look forward to talking to him a little bit later for his first ever win and the youngest ever in NHRA. Wins it on a hole shot. So, he really, I'm sure his family and his whole team's happy with that and proud of him right now.
Yeah, between his grandfather, dad, uncles, mom, I'm sure that it's a big celebration this week at the Gray Motorsports shop, not too far from us down here in Denver, North Carolina. Also coming up on the show, we'll talk to Tommy Johnson Jr. about his first win of the year. It puts him right now second in points. Guy that's finished second, third, and third in the last 3 years of funny car point standings. And we'll talk to Tommy Johnson Jr. here in just a couple minutes. But when we return, Tanner Gray, winner in Pro Stock from Las Vegas, joins us next.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly. Restore your vehicle's lost power by cleaning your entire fuel system with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Right now, buy one bottle, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Keep your engine clean and improve performance with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Danica Patrick to the front of the field at Talladega. They are side by side behind her. Jimmy Johnson.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Appreciate you being on the straight line here on MRN.com. Joining us on the telephone line right now is the driver of the Valvoline Chevy Camaro for Gray Motorsports and winner at Las Vegas in the Pro Stock category. Tanner Gray joins us. Tanner, congratulations on your first win. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
What does it feel like here to get your first win out there in Las Vegas? Obviously, your dad, your grandfather have been doing some drag racing for quite a long time, and I'm sure you've been around drag racing for a long time. Were you ready for a victory so early in your career?
I don't know. It's that's a tough question. I guess, I'm always ready to win and to do good, but I guess I wasn't quite expecting it to come that early.
Well, I'll tell you what, you made it happen going into the final round with lane choice, and then winning, a win over Bo Butner on a hole shot. You've got to feel good. Your whole team has to feel good about the performance and the satisfaction and pride of being able to take home a win in Las Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. They did a great job, and they made it easier for me to do my job that day. They gave me a great race car, and when you have a great race car, it makes things 10 times easier.
2 in a row for Gray Motorsports. Your dad, of course, winner at the Gator Nationals. So this doesn't come to as so much of a surprise. And I know if you told us, you'd have to kill us. But what, in general, have you found over the off season? Obviously, you've been doing a lot of testing, trying to get as many laps and as much seat time as possible. But is there something out there that during the off season you want, hey, this is something that we can apply to the regular season? Because obviously the performance has jumped dramatically.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just a lot of little things that you pick up on over the off season that obviously ties into the performance-based side of things. We kind of struggle with the engine tune-up and car setup because of my weight compared to my dad's weight at the beginning of the races. And after Gainesville, I made that mistake, and we stayed and tested, and we just got the car better, and we really worked on, the first 60 feet and stuff like that. And then along with the engine tune-up, then, when we went to Vegas, the car just seemed to work a lot better with the changes that we made, and the engine tune-up was there, and, we ended up coming out with a win.
Well, you know what? Good time for that. And like Marty said, back-to-back with Gainesville, your dad, and then you in Las Vegas. Now the next track you're coming to is at ZMAX, which is, I'm pretty sure that's your home track, so we'll be happy to see you over here. And you guys, I'm guessing that you come over to ZMAX and do a little bit of testing here as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think we're going to test there the 12th and the 13th, or that's the plan anyways. But, I think ZMAX will be an interesting race, especially with the four wide and it being my first year. I think that'll be interesting. Well,
the main thing about the 4-wide is there's really only one lane that you care about. So just remember that. And I know the first time I raced over there, it threw me off, but then ended up going to the final because once you get it in your head, there's really only one lane that matters. You're okay.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the advice.
When you started looking at the brackets for Sunday eliminations, you got Drew Skillman first round, but then as it looks, you're looking like Greg Anderson, Jason Line, and the possibility of Bo Butner, all KB cars. Did you have that going in the back of your mind going into Sunday?
To be honest with you, the only KB car that I really knew I had was Greg, or I assumed I was going to have. But after that, I never paid attention to the brackets. After I beat Greg, I honestly didn't even know I was racing Jason until a few minutes before the semis. So I think that actually kind of helped, just not worrying about who was over there and going up there and doing my thing. And I think that's kind of what you have to do in drag racing. I think if you're worried about who's over in the other lane, you're gonna end up making mistakes. And I think you're better off to just go up there and do your thing and run your race.
Hey, Tanner, you went into the final with lane choice. Was lane choice any part of a critical factor in Las Vegas?
I'd say a little bit. It wasn't anything huge, at least for the pro stock cars. There was a little bit there in the left lane that I think, or at least our crew chief thought he liked more. And I think it just definitely helps when you have lane choice. It's a confidence booster, and I think it just makes everything a little bit easier.
You mentioned your crew chief, Dave Conley. 23 national event wins, a handful of U.S. nationals. One of the best guys going when you're talking about pro stock. What has he been able to teach you here in your first couple of months as a pro?
There's been a lot of stuff that him and my dad and my grandpa have taught me. There's been a handful of things, just anywhere from how to stage the car properly to different clutch linkage settings and just stuff like that. Just I don't really know if they've taught me a whole lot. They've just showed me the how to do some of the things and do it well.
Well, it sounds like those are pretty good guys to listen to. There's quite a few wins between them. So congratulations. Great job out there in Las Vegas, and we'll look forward to seeing you when you come over here to the ZMAX.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Tanner Gray, the youngest winner ever in the pro stock or in any pro category in NHRA history, taking down the pro stock win at the Strip in Las Vegas this past weekend. When we return, we'll talk to another one of those winners in Las Vegas. Tommy Johnson Jr. will join us next.
O'Reilly.
Improve visibility when you replace your worn wiper blades with Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get a $10 O'Reilly gift card after mail-in rebate. Get premium wiper blades that ensure clear vision in any weather with Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today, midday. Weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
It's time to start pouring concrete, and the Housby Mixer System is ready for the job. The Housby Mixer System was created specifically with the driver in mind. All controls and specs are completely customizable to your operations. Our durable, driver-friendly mixer can be mounted on all truck types, and our expert support is second to none. On-site and live phone support is just a phone call away. For more information, visit Housby.com. Housby, an official sponsor of NASCAR for over 40 years. It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, once again, here's Doug and Marty.
Big thanks to Tanner Gray for joining us on this week's Straight Line and joining us right now on the telephone line. Another winner from Las Vegas in the funny car category, driver of the Make-A-Wish Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing. Tommy Johnson Jr. joins us. TJ, thanks for your time. We really appreciate it, and congratulations on a big win.
I appreciate it, guys. It was a very good weekend, and especially early in the season, only the fourth race in, and to get a win that early, lock yourself into the track's a shootout. And our team is a late bloomer, so we usually don't start rolling until about June, and then to get one in the books already, it gives you a little confidence it's going to be a good year.
Well, that was good. And going in your first round run, you guys had low ET by, 300 or 400, so that kind of set a really good tone for race day on Sunday.
Yeah, it did. I tell you, when the track was so tough on Friday, hardly any cars got down the track. And we come out Saturday, felt pretty good. We made it just a get-it-in-the-show run, 397, and tuned it up for the last run, went at 88. Was pretty confident going in the first round, but it was warm on Sunday. A lot of sun. The track was warm. A lot of guys having problems. There were some big upsets in front of me before we even ran, and went out there and went on 394. It was 300ths better than anybody else ran. I thought, well, this could be a good day.
John Collins said that Friday was so bad that you just had to take the mindset of, hey, Saturday's our first day. We'll start with a baseline, like you said, just get it in the show run, and go from there. Was that your mindset as the driver as well, that you just got to take Friday and toss that out and start fresh on Saturday?
Yeah, my mindset was let's don't let it shake again, because that really hurts. Friday was brutal. The track was so good and so tight, we just could not get enough wheel speed in the thing at the hit to keep it from shaking. And I know they asked me, "Why'd you shut it off for?" I said, "Because it hurt. That's why I shut it off. I didn't want to go any further." So you come into Saturday just thinking, all right, more normal conditions, sun's out, track's a little warmer. This is what we're used to running in. And, I hit the gas of the first or third qualifying run on Saturday, and it went right down through there. I'm like, okay, we're good. It's you just have to kind of put it out of your mind. Even though we were 19th out of 19th coming into that third session, I was confident the guys would get it. I knew they'd figure it out.
Hey, TJ, what about Johnny Lindbergh going into the final? And, he was running pretty good over there in Head's car. And then going into the final, the guy that was at the final, in the final round the week before at Gainesville, well, that was, you kind of had to be looking over at that guy thinking, well, what are they doing over there?
Yeah, for sure. I met Johnny several years ago when I raced over in Europe. I met him and his brother and his whole family over there, and they were at the Tierup, Sweden track, and just have known him for a long time. And actually, when he came over to the U.S., we talk a lot, because I was one of the few people he knew when he came over here. So you see what he's been doing the last couple of races. A rookie, you're thinking, oh, beginner's luck, here we go, and you think, oh, well, I don't want to be part of this Cinderella story. I want to ruin the Cinderella story. So it does make you nervous, though, when a guy's on a roll like that and they're doing so well. And the Head car hasn't been known for consistency throughout the last few years, but they've been running some pretty decent numbers, just being consistent and going down the racetrack and getting a few things to go their way. And here he is in the second consecutive final round. It's like, it's not a given for sure.
You're a previous winner at Las Vegas, but the last time you won there, 2001, 16 years ago. Do you even remember that win?
Yeah, vividly, actually. Yeah, it was my first win for Don the Snake Perdomo. I've only been driving for him, I think, 3 or 4 races, and got that first win for the team. It was pretty cool, but it doesn't seem like 16 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I won here in 01. But then when they said it in the press room after the race, yeah, you won here 16 years. I went, wow, that's been a long time. It just doesn't sound like it when you say 01, but when you start looking back to 16 years, it's quite a while. But I love the Vegas track. It's one of those tracks that I have success there. I've won once. I think I've been a runner-up 2 or 3 other times, and just it's always one of those tracks you go to and you pull in the gate and you think, I like this place, and it kind of sets a mindset for the whole weekend. And I was looking forward to getting to Vegas. I said before we went there, I said, I can't wait to get there. We're running well, and it's a track I love, so let's see what happens. And it turned out to be a pretty good weekend.
Well, and we talk about this usually every time that you come on the show, but Terry Chandler has obviously such an important part in the role of that race team and the Make-A-Wish. Explain again to our viewers and listeners, Tommy, how that works and how that car is funded to go down the track.
Yeah, a lot of people see our car with Make-A-Wish on it, and they think that there's actually funding coming from Make-A-Wish, and there's not. Not one penny comes from Make-A-Wish. It's all privately funded by a great lady, Terry Chandler. She loves drag racing. She loves being with her guys and supporting us. But she also loves kids, and she wanted to give back to others, and she wanted to raise awareness for what the great things Make-A-Wish does for all those kids that are really struggling and going through some tough times in life. And to be a part of this now for the 4th season and to see what they do, it's incredible. We've been a part of 2 or 3 wishes. I think we actually have a wish coming up in Charlotte when we come to the 4 wide.
Nice.
There'll be a Make-A-Wish being granted that weekend. We're getting some help from other race teams. That's what's really neat about it is not only is it our team representing Make-A-Wish and what great things they do, but we're getting a lot of support from other teams. Antron Brown helped us a lot with our wish in California last year. Won to race a junior dragster. Well, Antron has a lot of experience with it. He jumped on board and helped us with it. This coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got a little boy that wants to ride pro stock motorcycle. He's not going to be able to ride pro stock motorcycle, but Angela Sempe stepped up. She's going to bring him in, be a part of his team. They're going to warm him up on the bike. He's going to go pro stock motorcycle racing with the team this weekend. So it's just great to see everybody jumping on board, and it is a great cause. And she's such a great lady for all the things she does, not only for our team, but also Jack's team and the Infinite Hero Foundation. She gives back so much. It's almost like this win isn't enough to give back to her.
Tommy, any extra pressure going into the final round, trying to get Don Schumacher his 300th win? Yeah. How was that?
I'm glad that I didn't have a clue. Nobody told me anything about it. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know about it until I climbed out of the car. So I'm kind of glad they didn't say anything, because then it would have been some pressure there. But that was cool. The neat thing was the team. Johnny Gray drove this car before I did, and they were able to win 199, and Antron won 200. And it was kind of cool to be able to get 299 and Antron win 300. So I just hope I'm there for 399.
Yeah, and then when you wrap it all up for the weekend, Johnny Gray's grandson winds up on the victory podium with you at the end of the day. So that kind of puts a big bow on top of everything.
Yes, it did. It was really neat to see him, the tenor do that. He's doing a great job. I've been watching him all season and know Shane real well and got to know the Gray family, being associated with them. And to see him come along and excel so early. And I told him we were riding the golf cart back to the starting line, and I said, you'll never forget your first win. I said, but you're really never going to forget it because you won it on a hole shot. I said, as a driver, those mean something, So I said, you did a great job, and I said, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing fine. Don't get distracted. Just keep doing what you're doing. You'll have a lot of success. So it was really cool to see that, and that's 3 generations now in the Gray family. It's won their run races, and I'm looking forward to it. I keep hearing that they're going to be all 3 of them race one race, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, Tommy, congratulations on your win in Las Vegas, and we'll look forward to seeing you here pretty soon over at ZMAX.
Yeah, I can't wait. This 4-wide is going to be cool. A lot of people don't like the 4-wide as drivers, but I love it. I think it's the greatest thing ever, so I can't wait to get there.
Do you do any golfing?
Absolutely, yep.
Well, come be my
I
guest at our golf tournament.
I already got the memo, Doug. I know all about it.
Oh, okay, good.
He's there. He's there.
Good. We'll look forward to seeing you at the golf.
All right, man. Sounds good.
Tommy Johnson Jr., winner of the funny car category at the Strip in Las Vegas in the Make-A-Wish Dodge. When we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything comes to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
It's all a family sport.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Brad Keselowski will win.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
We just have to find the value package that connects a new generation of fans.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
Race fans, there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Tanner Gray and Tommy Johnson Jr. for joining us on today's Straight Line. Road to the Future Awards. Now, we're very early on in the season, and we'll see what happens once we get maybe to mid-pack, mid-part of the season. But for right now, here's your Road to the Future Award candidates. Tanner Gray, already with a win. Johnny Lindbergh, 2 finals in his first 2 wins. You have Troy Coughlin Jr., who's doing an incredible job right now in Connie Coletta's dragster, and Joey Gladstone, who was the Pro Stock Motorcycle pole winner and went all the way to the semifinals at Gainesville. The road to the future has usually just been one person and one person alone. Right now, we got 4 candidates, so that's exciting for the sport.
That's going to be an interesting, interesting time this year, deciding who's going to be the best.
Absolutely,
you've actually got 4 legitimate, contenders that can win in their respective classes. So pretty exciting this year. I think you're going to have some pretty. That might even come down to the last race. And one of these guys wins at Pomona at the finals, that would be a pretty big topper to the Road to the Future Award.
Yeah, exactly. Joey Gladstone looks really good. And Troy Coughlin Jr. over there with the Coletta guys, heck, anything could happen right there. So we're looking forward to that. So for everybody involved in this week's Straight Line, thank you very much. My name is Marty Huff. We will talk to you next week here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, Presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and was brought to you by Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday on MRN.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.